So now I'm going to talk about the shoulder and the arm and the forearm kind of all together. I'm going to work basically from the shoulder on down. So our pectoral girdle, also known as our shoulder girdle, is made up of two bones. The first one is the clavicle, which is also known as your collarbone, and then we've got the scapula, which is the shoulder blade. So of the scapula, there's a couple of parts that you need to know. The first one is this piece that's coming off of the back of it. So this is the back portion of it. This is your acromion process, and your acromion process kind of comes toward your shoulder. So if you kind of put one finger on the front of your shoulder and one finger on the back, you'll feel that bony prominence. That's going to be your acromion process. And we know that our shoulder is a ball and socket joint. So the ball is on the humerus, which is the bone in the arm, and then the socket is on the scapula itself. So this area right here is known as the glenoid cavity, and that's going to be the socket of the ball and socket joint that you're going to see that kind of goes like this. So on the front, when we're looking at this, you've got your clavicle on the front, and you've got your scapula on the back. So that's kind of the way that they're going to be put together. Clavicle on the front, scapula on your back. That is going to create your shoulder or your pectoral girdle. From there, we're going to have the three arm bones, and I want you to kind of notice the size of these three. And so the big thing about arm and leg bones is usually the difference in size, and I'm going to do a video later that shows you the difference between those specifically. But the first bone that we have in our arm is the humerus. So you'll notice the ball from that ball and socket joint. So this is the humerus. The next two bones are in our forearm. We have the radius and we have the ulna. So there's a reason that I put them kind of the way that they're looked at. So when we talk about the radius and the ulna, your radius is going to be closest to your thumb, and your ulna is going to be closest to the pinky. The way to remember the radius is the radius has a circle top. So when we're talking about the radius has this circle top, radius of a circle. That's the way that I remember it. The ulna, if you place it kind of on its side, the head of the ulna creates this U shape. So when you're looking at the radius versus the ulna, the radius is going to have that circular head, where the ulna is going to have that U shape. And then the humerus, once again, has that ball for that ball and socket joint. The last part of the upper limb is going to be the hand. So on this hand, we're actually looking at a right hand. So this is the thumb, this is the pinky, these are all of the wrist bones. So when we take a look at the hand itself, all of the wrist bones together, we call them the carpals. Attached to the carpals, we have the metacarpals. And attached to the metacarpals, we have the phalanges. So the phalanges is going to be the number of bones that you have in each joint. So when you think about your thumb and you do your, basically, the knuckles on your thumb, you have two bones. So you only have two phalanges in your thumb. In all of your others, you'll notice that you have more than basically one bend. So in between each one of those bends, you have an individual bone. So in our index finger, our middle finger, our fourth finger, and then our pinky, we're going to have three phalanges in each one of those. So the thumb is really different in the fact that it only has two phalanges. All of the other bones here that connect the carpals to the phalanges are known as the metacarpals. The way that we number the digits on the hand is we start with the thumb and number the thumb 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.